Good morning, folks. You're listening to another episode of Car Musings. How's everybody doing today? Yes, it's your host, Matt Morgan. And how are you doing today? What's new and exciting? What's going on? Feels like forever since I did one of these episodes. Now, I could be wrong, but it just feels that way because time flies really quick, right? You get really busy and stuff. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm back. Let's do some more episodes. I've had to shut down working on the website because I get my usual requests for links and articles and stuff. And you know what? If my regulars that make those requests are actually listening to today's episode, I want to thank you very much for your contributions and the continued effort in order to help people out. But I'm at the point where I need to help myself because I've decided somewhat recently, but not really, that the rescue boat's not coming, and we pretty much have to save ourselves. And unfortunately, if no one's stepping up to bat for you, you have to step up to bat for you. So, you know, that's just the reality of it. It sucks, but it's true. So I know a lot of you folks are, in the kindness of your hearts, whatever reasons you contribute, and I appreciate it. The helpful articles, the links to support groups, and that's awesome. And I'm not trying to be, difficult, but I am trying to focus on what I need to focus on in my own little world. Right now, it has to do with financial, and nobody has putting themselves out for that. Donations, sponsorships, everything else. Like, sad world we live in, right? This content's not really free. Costs me money every single month in order to do the distribution and everything else to get you these shows, right? I need more subscribers. I need more reviews. I need financial assistance. And how much is $5, $10 going to cost you realistically? If you think about the fact is that I put out $100 a month just in the cost for the show. And if you've been following along, you know, I actually follow through with the demand. I follow through with what I say I'm going to. But I need you to step up and do your part. Go to themadmorgan.com. There's a support us link in the top right hand corner. Or if you're on a cell phone, you should be able to find it in the last drop down. And please send us a contribution. $5, $10. Really? That's like a Starbucks coffee, all right? That's nothing these days. But it makes a difference in order to offset the costs that come out of my pocket every fucking month. All right? Yes. Seems like the F bomb is a regular thing these days in regular vocabulary. I don't mean to sound unprofessional, but I'm just trying to emphasize the urgency of this and the need for it and where I need your help. All right? Share the show, tell people about the show, whatever the case may be. It could help other people. Great, awesome. So there you go. That's my shout out on that one because it's a little annoying that all the efforts are being made and people just reap the rewards. You know, transactionally, seriously, I'm stepping up. Are you stepping up? That's the question. Anyways, enough about that. Thank you in advance if you can actually do assist. I do appreciate that. Maybe you want merch. I don't know. I don't know. But right now, I got to focus on other projects that are going to increase the odds of actually getting me an income. Um, so that's kind of where I'm focusing. So for the time being, any requests to the website, um, although yes, I could do it in my sleep, I'm putting that off. I'm standing in protest to a certain degree because I need people to understand the need for any sort of support. So I need people to actually step up, please. Thank you. Anyways, enough about that. How's your integrity? How you doing? Keeping everything in check? You doing the right thing when no one else is watching? Well, I know some of you fuckers aren't, but for the most part, are you at least trying to be a decent human being? Are you at least trying to be a decent person? That's the question of the day, and that's one thing I always want to know, because it's a domino effect, my friends. Help out where you can, make a difference where you can, and people will observe and hopefully do the same in return. That's the thing. That's the thing. Don't think no one else is watching. Everybody's watching. Everyone else is watching. And as much as you think it's petty, as much as you can think whatever, people are watching, people are observing, people are taking notes. No matter what you do, your interactions, all that stuff like that. And it's a constant thing. And I wrote an article about this recently, um, on professional, somewhat professional, social platform. And basically, it's along the lines of, hey, those doors keep being closed, and those people are turning their back on you when you've fallen, and you aren't appealing to them on a transactional basis. Those people are still taking notes, even when they're in the gutter, even when they've fallen. They're observant. They know these things. They watch these things. They see what's going on. And actions speak louder than words. This is a straight fact. Actions speak louder than words. And it builds up resilience. It really does. It really builds up resilience for people that when they're down and out, um, when they're building back up to get stronger again, they're building resilience. But they're not going to forget. They're taking names. They're taking notes. They know who was there and who wasn't. So that's one thing I think people really fail to realize, that there is it's not bitterness. It's more of just, hey, I'm not going to forget the fact that when I was in that situation, when the person was in that situation, yeah, namely myself as well, but you're not going to forget who was there beside you when you're in that situation, and who wasn't. And I know I've talked about this before. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. I think it brings it up because I am on that building scope again, and because I'm trying to build that resilience across the board, it's it's very much putting a lot of effort into being ironclad. So it's not going to happen again. So I think that's what brought it up recently, in presenting my findings, presenting what I've learned over this whole experience the last 2+ years. So I wrote an article on it to help out others, just to bring it to their attention of what they should be doing to look out for themselves, um, to make mental note for themselves. Don't just be a pushover. Don't just take it as it is. Don't just expect, oh, that's the way it goes. It doesn't have to be that way. So remember that. If people contributed to put you in that hardship, don't let them slide on it. Even when you get back on top again, be better. Be better, but don't not do not do not forget. Um, I'm just saying that. I just want to put that out there. Do not forget. And as much as people think that they're untouchable, nobody's untouchable. Nobody's untouchable. Just remember that. Nobody's untouchable. The higher they are in their ivory tower, the freaking farther they have to fall. Just remember that. The higher they are in their ivory tower, the further they have to fall and the harder they have to fall. And some of them, that would be fun to watch. Just saying. Remember that. Higher they are, the harder they fall. So, you know, that's the other thing to keep into consideration. And nobody's untouchable. Um, Nobody is immune to to the situation. And the thing is that, and I think the advice that I'm going to basically do is this: is that if like myself, you find yourself in that situation, do yourself and do the overall good a favor. When you're back on top again, when you're in that situation where you have a strong foundation, you've rebuilt, you're fortified, you're good to go, everything's back on track, your financial house is in order, blah, 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 blah. Do me a favor, but do everybody else a favor too. Don't stop helping those that truly deserve it. Just really be meticulous with a fine-tooth comb on who you actually throw your support to and how much you do. Just saying. Just saying. Don't be the assholes that put you down. Be better than that. But also don't be a pushover that you were in the past, because, as we all saw, in my own experience, those people that you helped out didn't help you out in return. So yeah, you kind of have to, you know, gauge what matters and gauge your level of support. Because let's be honest, unless you want to completely turn into a friggin' rock, you still got to have that kindness in your heart. You still got to have that. Um, you still got to have that empathy. Don't lose sight of that. Regardless of how hard a time period has been, don't lose track of your heart. Don't lose track of your compassion, your empathy for people. But you're just gonna have to try to save save the world in a different way that is not going to make you look foolish, but at the same time not let you get abused as well. Just saying. I know myself. Oh yeah, and I have some people probably saying, okay, let's get on at Mad Morgan. What's going on? Okay, so as you know, I'm working on this strategically. That game plan, that the playbook is coming into motion, which is good. So I'm on that upward curve. I've had some few interesting experiences. Um, I mean, I can name a company that, frankly, is very unethical, but they just go ahead and change their name anyways because they rather hide behind a bunch of false names rather than, you know, they're basically. It's hard to explain. There are some companies that don't care about their reputation; they just care about the bottom line, right? And my experience with that one of those recently, um, it was a piss off, but it's one of those entities that doesn't really matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. You won't be able to hurt them because they're convinced that they're doing right in some regards. Like they don't think they're doing wrong. Um, it's annoying. It really is. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you have a million and one different people doing devious things in a million and one different directions and people are falling for it? There's not much you can do about it, right? Not everybody looks at social media. Not everybody gets the signal. Not everybody gets the message. The only thing you can do is, all right, fine, whatever, and move forward. Don't focus on stuff that's going to waste your energy. Focus on better possibilities. You know your strengths. You know what you can do. You know what capabilities are available, and just work with those. That's about it. Remember, there's a bigger plan here in your life. Like there's a bigger plan in my life. Don't give up. Bottom line is just don't give up. Don't give up. That's stupid to give up. You can't make a change if you give up. It might be a lot easier than dealing with the shit you're dealing with, but just don't give up. Keep moving forward. Don't let those fuckers win. That's my motivation, right? And also my slogan recently is keep your head a shake, um, to the whole world for that matter. But don't let those fuckers win. That's the biggest thing. Don't let those people that are no good. Because I mean, think about it. People did this, put you in a situation. They're gonna do it to other people. Do you want to save the world? Try helping those other people, other than yourself, to try to deal with those particular elements and deal with those situations, deal with those struggles in life. Help educate other people with what you know, what you learned. If you've pulled yourself out of a rut and you built yourself back on top again, honestly, help other people with that. And that's what I do with our podcast. That's what we do. That's what I do. We, whatever. Um, because that's the thing. We want to help other people. we want to contribute to helping people get through what they have to get through. And that's the same that you should do when you build yourself back up again, is that try to educate people, not necessarily throw money at them, but you know, educate them, strengthen them. Knowledge is power. Help them with avoiding the pitfalls, building themselves up again, all that stuff like that. That's probably the biggest contribution you can do, um, in the greater scheme of things. And that's still what I'm going to continue to do. And on top of everything else, I mean, let's be honest. I do these podcasts. They're therapeutic for me to a degree. Let's be yell at the world. And whether or not there's zero or whether or not there's a million people freaking listening, you know, do I know the numbers? Yeah, I know the numbers, but I know for a fact that I do have regulars that still listen. And if I'm helping them in any way, great. Then it's worth it. For me, it's just worth it to a degree because I get to share my views in a somewhat, um, you know, capacity that's not going to really cause problems for me all the way across the board. It's going to be something that still allows me to exist in the everyday world, but at the same time have a voice. Because unfortunately, we live in a really freaking weird world, right? With all the crap that's going on in the world, you can't throw shade out there on anything. Oh, heaven forbid, that's just taboo. Don't be negative. Don't do this. Don't be toxic. Blah, 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 blah. But all this nicety is not really helping anything. It's not making a difference. It's making things worse. So, what's the point, right? My viewpoint is, what's the point if all the nicety is not making nicety? It's not making everything nice. It's not making people positive. It's actually having an opposite effect. I think people need to yell more at the world. I think they do. I think they do. I think people need to yell more at the world. I think more people need to vent, not lash out. We're seeing a lot of lashing out, basically because you've introduced uncivilized civilizations to civilized situations and civilizations and all that stuff like that. That's a mixing worlds that shouldn't be mixed. But my point is that you know I don't know. People need to vent more. Oh, and for the record, I've tried to name a lot of our episodes. Pretty much, I'm leaving it up to AI. Whatever the suggestions come out at the end of the actual podcast, I'm letting AI name it. If you're wondering where some of our titles come from, just so you know, AI is basically the one that's naming a lot of the episodes. So I'll leave that up to you to decipher on that. I know. You're like, Mad Morgan, that's so freaking lazy. I'm like, is it the message that matters or the way it's presented? I don't know. I think it's the message that matters, in my opinion. So, you know what? I'm giving you 20 minutes of my day, roughly, if not more. And yeah, this is how I'm voicing it. This is how I'm doing it. The whole point of what we do, what I do, is basically just to help educate, help people out, and try to make the world a little better in even the smallest portion as I possibly can. That's what I try to do. So, whether or not it does, it's up to you. But if I'm going to streamline this and put it on autopilot, hey, that's up to me. I can do that. Makes my life a little easier, makes my life a little easier rather than having to deal with, the stress of a major production. Tell you what, you sponsor me, you give me donations, you support the show, and Frank, I will go jumping through all those hoops for you. But until then, I'm going to make this as simple as I can for myself. Basically, just get the message out versus getting anything else out, right? That's pretty much where I'm coming at. I'm not going to stress on that one. But from today's show, hey, you know what? If you're rebuilding, just rebuild the right way. If you are getting back on top again, just reinforce your foundations. Um, Make sure you don't have to go through the whole process again, and just be smart about it moving forward. Just really don't go to knee-jerk reactions. Just really do what you can the best way you can, but watch out for yourself. That's all I'm saying. Do what you can, but be smart about what you can. And just, as I said, don't knee jerk it. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Just slow and steady. All right? Fine. Somebody's going through a rough time. Somebody's going through a rough time. Doesn't mean you have to jump in. Doesn't mean you have to throw money at them. Doesn't mean you have to come to there. Let them fucking deal with it. You dealt with it for as long as you've dealt with it. You know what? Some people just have to fucking learn to stand on their own 2 feet. That's basically, nobody fucking bailed me out in this last 2 years. Hell no. This is pulling from every resource I have. Every freaking resource I have. You know? Now we've got to the bottom line here. And you never want to push somebody to the limits where they have nothing else to lose. That's a bad idea. So, you know what? When you're back on top, just really take a good look at the situation and how much somebody's suffering, whether or not they've actually exhausted every possibility, and make a calculated equation on that. Kids or no kids. No, people throw their freaking kids out there like shields. No, no. Don't fall for that bullshit either. All right. Provide them resources, provide them helplines, provide them research, let them figure it out on their own. Right? That's what you can do. That's what you can do. And there's tools to do that. We'll talk about that in our next episode. There's a lot of tools out there, and I'm not going to give it all away, but there's a lot of tools out there that are a lot smarter than the average bear. I'll tell you that. And I've been perfecting on how to actually use these utilities, and it's quite impressive. It really is moving forward. But we'll get into that in the next episode. I don't know what we covered today, but hey, I'm alive and kicking. I hope you're alive and kicking. Remember, don't give up. Keep moving forward. You got this. You do. You do. And you're going to come through on the other side. But just don't forget, man. Just don't forget. Don't forget where you've been. Don't forget who was there. Don't forget who wasn't there. And just remember that. You know, that's basically it. As much as people want to view it, you really have to remember it. And just make yourself so valuable moving forward that you're going to topple over everybody else. That's what I'm saying. Make yourself so valuable that you topple over everybody else. And that's going to be a sweet position to be in. That is really going to be a sweet position to be in. Get more education. That's what I'm doing. More education, more tools, more resources. Make a plan. Move forward with it. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Hey, I'm your host, Matt Morgan. It's been another episode of Car Musings. Thank you for being here. Love you for it. Um, just do what you can. Just do what you can moving forward. That's all. Do what you can moving forward. I know I am, and you should too. There, there, there is, there is another side to this. You just have to stick in there, and don't forget your value when everybody else does. You don't forget your value. All right, that's it. Enough of the preaching. Love you for tuning in. I'd say check out themadmorgan.com, but if you are, support us if you would. Appreciate that. I'm going to wrap this up. I will see you next episode. Until then, take care of yourself. Bye for now.